Okay, indirect proof. Obviously, we're looking at writing two column proofs, but then using things that either you can assume or you generally think is not true. Okay, indirect reasoning. Actually, this is a good example that they give here. So by making sort of conjectures, theories, etc., etc., you finally come up with some sort of correct answer. Okay, indirect proof and proof by contradiction. That's my old saying. It's easier to prove something wrong than it is proving something correct. So both of these two guys link in together. Okay, keeping things simple with example one. State an assumption necessary to start an indirect proof of each statement. Obviously got a statement that if 6 is a factor of n, then 2 is a factor of n also. The conclusion of the conditional statement is that 2 is a factor. The negation is 2 is not a factor. Simple as that. Okay, so let's have a look at how an indirect proof fits in with the statement. The statement in question number 1 is that AB is congruent to CD. Indirect proof of that is that AB is not congruent to CD. Simple, easy. Okay, so how does an indirect proof fit into writing it as a proof? Well, you're given this section here that negative 3x plus 4 is greater than 16. You've got to prove that x is less than negative 4. First thing to do is do the negation, do the opposite, all right? But this time you're saying that x is greater than or equal to negative 4, and you can assume that. So that x is greater than negative 4 or that x equals negative 4, and that's true. Okay, make a table of values. In other words, plug numbers into that equation and see what you get. Okay, so, and you will see eventually by your table of values that x is less than negative 4 must be true. Okay, so let's have a look at number 5. What we're told that 2x plus 3 is less than 7, so x is less than 2. Okay, well, make the assumption, so assume. Something I don't really like to do, but you know me, go with the flow. So x is greater than 2 or that x is equal to 2. Make sure that that's true. Okay, then do your table of values. Here's your value of x. Here's the value of 2x plus 3 and plug it in. Okay, so if x was 2, let's do 2 to 6, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, what would you get if you plug it in? You'd get 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15. Okay, so that when x is greater than 2, 2x plus 3 is greater than 7. Okay, so we know that that is true. So in step 3, so in theory, there's step 1. So I'm doing this exactly like the example. There's step 2. And step 3 is, in both cases, the assumption leads to the contradiction of the given information that 2x plus 3 is less than 7. Therefore, the assumption that x, don't forget x, is greater than or equal to 2 must be false. Okay, so the original conclusion, that x is less than 2 must be true. Okay, so let's have a look at question number 7. What do we know? Christina scored 13 points for a high school lacrosse team during the last 6 games. Proved that her average points per game was less than 3. Okay, so let's have a look at what you've got, all right? The average is going to be equaled the points over the number of games. Okay, so just start with that. So let's have a look at what we did last time. Step 1, what do we know? So it must be, so A must be greater than or equal to 3. Okay, because we need to make sure that that's the opposite of what we want to prove. So let's have a look at number 2. So let's have a look at the our little table again. You can put it in tables or something similar. Okay, let's call this case 1 and case 2. All right, in case 1, A equals 3, and in case 2, A must be greater than 3 from what we've been given, remember? Right, so does A equal or not equal? We're not quite sure, so let's put a question mark over that. 13 over 6, or does 13 over 6, is that greater than, and we're not quite sure, so another little question mark, equals 3. Well, 3 does not equal. If you think of 13 over 6, that's 2 and 1/6. Well, that 2 and 1/6 is 2.2. And 2.2 is not greater than, so we put a line through there as well, 3. And there's your proof, all right? So the conclusion is false, so the assumption is false. So that is all false. Okay, so that her actual proof that their actual points gain was less than 3.